Well, hey there, it's Gigi. Welcome. I'm so glad you came to visit. It is July hot in Georgia. We've been having close to 100 every day this week. If I'm red faced, it's because I've been out working in the garden. But I've got some of my grandkids come to visit and they want biscuit pudding, so that's what I'm up to today. And I've got my mama's recipe, so we're going to follow along. First thing we need is some eggs, and I've got my farm eggs from Henrietta. So we're gonna crack them. Remember, we're gonna crack eggs on a flat surface, not on a sharp surface. We're gonna crack them on a flat surface so that they will open and not spill and crack, and you don't have pieces falling in your bowl. So some pretty yellow eggs from Henrietta. Okay, next thing is a cup of sugar. So I got to get my canister over here, my sugar. And I've been canning this week. I've made some hot pepper relish, and I've made some sweet pickles. I'm going to be making some dill pickles later on this week, so I'll probably have a video of that. But let's get some sugar. Okay, the recipe says 1 cup of sugar. And I've got this little bag with the rice in it to absorb um, the moisture in here. So we're going to fill up 1 cup of sugar. All right, so that's 1 cup of sugar. And you know what? I got to get that oven getting going because we want to preheat the oven to 400. So, and you know by now that I have to turn on the light to remind me that this oven is on, otherwise I might forget. So if I come through and I see that light on, I know that I have left a burner on or the oven on or forgotten something. Anytime I turn on my stove, I turn on the light. Okay, so we've got 2 eggs, a cup of sugar, and now we're going to get a half a stick of butter. I'm going to melt this butter for 30 seconds in the microwave. While that's melting, I'm going to add 2 cups of milk. And I use sweet milk for this. This morning I made the biscuits. I used buttermilk. So that, like I say, I had my grandchildren, my grandboys over here, and we had biscuits and bacon and eggs and grits. We had a good old-fashioned breakfast so that I could have some leftover biscuits for the biscuit pudding. They all have birthdays close, so we're just having a birthday party for all 3 of them. So it takes 6 biscuits, and we just crumble them up, and we'll let them soak up that milk and sugar. The biscuits still smell good. All right. Clean up a little bit here. I saved my eggshells. You've seen that video where they go in the garden and then I give them back to the chickens to eat. Okay, we got a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to pour over these eggs just in case I get a little bit. There we go. Did it pretty good, didn't I? 1 drop in the eggs. And the eggs, 2 eggs well beaten. Aren't they pretty? They're so vibrant, golden yellow. Henrietta does a good job. That's my chicken, Henrietta. The great grandchildren named her. we got the butter, the half a stick of butter. And I'm going to go ahead and melt another half stick to go into the let's see, what is it? 9 by 13 pan, glass pan. We'll put this back in the microwave. My mom always used a glass pan for her dressing and for her biscuit pudding. And she always melted a half a stick of butter. She said that made, and she poured it in, and when you're cooking, that makes a crust around the edge. And with the dressing, of course, it's salty, but with the biscuit pudding, it's going to be sweet, but it's going to be crunchy, and it just adds another texture to the flavor. Okay, so all I'm doing is just mixing all this together, and it doesn't matter what order you put them together, but that's going to sit for about 10 minutes to let all that soak up into the biscuits. This recipe is a family recipe. Whenever we have family reunions, that was my mother's signature, one of her signatures that she always brought. And she belonged to the Women's League in Warner Robins, which was a business and professional ladies league. And she brought this to when they would have their dinners too. And one of the, that's my needle and thread and my safety pin. My grandma Humphrey on the other side used to always carry on hers. But she brought the recipe, and so a lady from the Macon Telegraph, one of the businesses at the at the meeting, asked to do a feature article on her biscuit pudding. So she came, the lady from the Macon Telegraph, and came to Mama's house and watched her make it and everything. And Mama was real down to earth, and she told this on herself. This actually happened at one of our get-togethers. We had a big old meal, everything Southern, just about to pop. We ate so much, and then she brings out the biscuit pudding, and of course we found room for it, and we were all sitting around the table, and started taking bites, and you could kind of see one by one we were kind of making eye contact with each other and just kind of looking, and Mama realized something was going on, so she tasted some, just deadpan. She said, "Well, that's blame. I believe I left out the sugar." We cracked up. We about fell out of our chairs. And of course, my son Jeffrey was young, and he went to, like, he was choking and spitting, and my sister June chimed in. We all had a good laugh. But she told this to the Macon Telegraph, and they did a picture and a double column write-up of Mama making the biscuit pudding in their food section, and included that story. Okay, it's soaked it up pretty good. It's been about 10 minutes. I'm just gonna pour this in. It's real easy, isn't it? I guess this is what the English would call bread pudding, if you put raisins and put a vanilla sauce on it. But this is the way Mama made it. Okay, the oven's not quite ready, so when it gets to 400, I'll be right back to put it in. All right, it just beeped, so it's 400. It's ready to go. Whew, a little warm. All righty, that's biscuit pudding, and it takes about 30 to 45 minutes when it gets golden on the top, and a light brown and kind of pulls away from the sides, you know it's ready. So we'll come back in a few minutes and get a taste. Alrighty, let's take a peek. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, all that crust all around there. It's nice and toasty brown and all that crust around there. Oh, well, I am not going to try to take a taste test because it is piping hot. And also they're waiting on me over at my granddaughter's